Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Thanks a bunch for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Look at this wax-covered top on this Kane Brewing Company beer. This is their pitcher and reverse bourbon barrel aged version. This was sent to me by my beer brother Rico. He sent me a couple different beers from them that are all high-dollar beers, I would assume, with these big wax-covered caps on the top of them, guys. A lot of people say, that's so you can cellar it and not have any oxidation and all that going on. Horse hockey. If they cap it correctly, it's going to keep for 20 freaking years without the wax or foil or anything like that on it. So they put the wax on to keep people from cloning the beer or simulating the beer. Again, horse hockey. Who's going to go to that trouble? Seriously? Really? Have we got to that stage where they're black marketing and cloning beers? No. We have not. So, wax on a bottle is like tits on a borehole. Useless. Just my opinion, though, guys. Just my opinion. This is the 2019 edition. When I went to Beer Advocate, they have them all clumped together, and they're saying it's at 13.2%. Well, the 2019 is not. In the picture they're showing me, it's an all-black label, which this one is not. So, another reason why Beer Advocate is dying, guys. They clump all of them together no matter what batch or year it is, so you get a lot of misinformation. So, as far as I'm concerned, they're out of here. They're in the shower, taking a shower. When I go over to Untapped and type in the 2019 edition of this beer, they bring it up and it has the correct ABV. We don't have the IBUs, but the commercial description says, picture in reverse, the annual release of our barrel-aged old ale. The base beer is brewed with a simple malt bill of almost entirely British Golden Promise, then boiled down in 3 hours to reduce and concentrate the wort. After fermentation with our house ale yeast, we aged this beer for over 13 months in total, aged in Willet bourbon barrels. In this particular edition, the 2019 edition, the one I have here in front of me, is a 12.8%. Unlike Beer Advocate, where they clump them all together and they don't have a clue. They just put them all together, and whatever ABV comes up, that's what it is. They don't differentiate most of the time between batches or years, guys. So, if you go to Beer Advocate, you're going to get a lot of misinformation a lot of the time. So, a dying website as far as I'm concerned. And I've had guys, why don't you post something then and update them? That's not going to do any good. I mean, if I post it and say this beer is that, they're still going to clump them all in the same category. They don't differentiate between beers. So, I think, my humble, honest opinion, that it is a dying site. So, if you want more accurate information, go to Untapped. Join Untapped, sign up for that, and you're going to get a lot more accurate information. So, the note he sent here with it says basically the same thing. 12.8% old ale aged for over a year in bourbon barrels. No date anywhere on the bottle, but it was just released a few weeks ago, so it is a 2019 edition, and it was around $15 per bottle at the brewery. So not a cheap bottle to buy, but you realize it's pricey because it's a big beer and it's bourbon barrel aged on top of that. It takes up space in the brewery while they're aging it, and that's why it costs more. And then they're having somebody stand at the end of the bottling line, dipping every one of them in wax, which increases the price on top of that. So, I've aged beers without wax on them for 15 plus years and not had any problem. If the cap's put on correctly, the beer's under pressure, the air's not getting in, it's trying to get out. So, you'll never convince me otherwise. I think it's an additional step, just like putting it in a big fancy printed up cardboard box like Firestone Walker does, that adds cost to purchasing the beer. So, especially if we're selling them in singles, It's an unnecessary step that has costs that's passed on to you and me. So, with that being said, I don't think we'll have the IBUs on this beer, and I wish they would put a vintage on it somewhere to let you know, other than going to their site, look at the label, trying to figure out what you bought, what you have, what you're drinking. They could do that. Especially if the ABV is changing from year to year. And they've got the ABV on the label. So if they brew it again next year, it may have a different ABV and they're going to have a completely different label. So why not put 2019 on it? Basically. That's close enough to me. Not knowing that they did it in January, July, December, but it still gives us a vintage in case you have multiple years of this beer. And they have done it before. Like I said, maybe the 2018 was 13.2%. So to get the most accurate information, you need to have the ABV on the bottle and you need to have the vintage on the bottle or the can. So you'll never convince me otherwise. I've been drinking craft beers for over 10 years, been reviewing them almost that long. We need to have that information. And even if you don't want to put it on the label, stamp it on the bottle somewhere with a yellow, white, blue ink that's easily readable when the beer is in the bottle. Black ink on a dark brown bottle with a dark beer in it does not work. Period. So, enough fussing, enough ranting and raving. Let's see what we got here, guys. Let me mark this one. Oh, Rico, thanks again, my brother, for sending me this. I cannot get their beers here, guys. Not seeing anything from Kane Brewing here before. So, now we got to get the knife out and start carving on the wax so we can get the damn cap off of it. Hopefully I don't cut my damn hand or fingers or anything like that trying to do this. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops to open up a beer. So, I got the top part of it off, and now let's carve a line around under the cap and get most of this wax off because I don't want it in my glass. I do not want to drink wax. It is very unpleasant. So, I think we got enough of it off. Not a major hassle, but still. It's like the corked and cage stuff that's kind of rare now. Not a lot of them do it now. Some of them still do. But sometimes you can get that cork out very easily once you remove the cage. And sometimes you gotta get a damn pair of pliers to open up a beer. What? Yep. It's what it is. Some people know how to do beers, and some people make you jump through hoops to get it open. Nice hiss. A lot of smoke coming out of the top of it. Very colorful label. And I think I've got a rye barrel version of this that Rico also sent me. So 12.8%, it's got it written on there. It's about 500 milliliter bottle. So we're going to go right straight down the center on this pour unless it starts producing a monster head. Seems to be decently carbonated for a 12.8%, almost a 13% beer. I'm not pointing too aggressive because I don't want 5 fingers of head. Man, that's about all I'm going to get in there right now. So, about a finger of head on that pour. Slightly off-white khaki colored head. Very dark beer. Not getting a whole lot of light at all through the beer. Very dark beer. So, to the nose we go. Oh yeah. I'm definitely getting the bourbon notes. That makes me happy, guys. When I see it's got bourbon barrel aged or rye barrel or whiskey barrel aged on the label, I want to be able to smell that. I want to be able to taste that. When you're charging me a premium price for a beer that is supposed to be barrel aged and I do not get that in the aroma or the taste, that tells me I am not going to purchase your beer. So, very nice bourbon notes. Basically, heavy bourbon notes, and that's what I want to smell. I want to be able to smell that. And a lot of breweries, I don't want the bourbon overpowering everything else in the beer. Horse hockey. You're charging me premium price. If I'm not smelling it or tasting it, you've either reused a bourbon barrel that's had beer in it before, or you did not leave it in there long enough. And if you don't like the taste of bourbon and you don't want that in your beer, don't buy the beer. Yeah, that's real simple. Don't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But for a $15 a bottle of beer, I want to smell it and I want to taste it. And the aroma is there, guys. Roasted malt, black molasses, got a nice sweetness to it, maybe a little bit of chocolate notes in there, maybe some dark fruit notes in there too. So wonderful aroma, very nice. And I've reviewed Kane beers before. They seem to do a very pleasant job. The only thing that I could fuss on this, other than the wax, and I understand why they do that, they want to charge you more money, is not having a vintage on it. So, but looking at the ABV and looking at what I'm seeing on Untappd for the 2019 edition, because when I brought it up the first time, it didn't have the year and it had it at 13.2%. When I typed in 2019 for this beer, it brought back all the correct information. So, wonderful aroma. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Thank you, sir. Absolutely freaking delicious. The bourbon notes are there. And if I'm paying $15 for a bottle of beer and it says it's bourbon barrel aged, and I smell that and I taste that, let's say, oh yeah, this is worth buying. I would buy this beer if it was here, guys. Because the bourbon notes are there, they're prominent, they're in the taste, they're in the aroma. It's worth $15 to me to buy this beer. If they would put the vintage on it. And not knowing the vintage, you could find that out, either their website or going to Untappd and typing in the 2019, but a lot of times you don't know. If you go into the store and you're looking at it, well, that's a 12.8%, but I don't know what year it is. So there's probably channels you can go through, either their site or whatever, to try to figure that out. But it'd make it a whole lot easier if they just put it on the bottle somewhere, either on the label or stamp it somewhere where you can see it. It's not rocket science, guys. This is 2019. Craft beer's been around for a long time. So if you're not doing those steps, there are a lot of breweries that do, that are brewery only releases. They're not distributed anywhere. This was a brewery bought beer. So maybe they think if you buy it at the brewery, you don't have to have that information. I kind of disagree, but it's just my opinion. That is a very, very tasty beer. And I am saddened that it doesn't have a vintage on it somewhere. But it is what it is. I can't control that. Maybe me fussing will enlighten them. There's a lot of them breweries that have changed the way they bottle or can beers. I don't think I've had that big of influence on it, but I do have a lot of followers, a lot of people that watch my beer reviews, and I am their voice. And I fuss. And I complain. And a lot of people don't want to hear me do that a lot of times. Oh, you fuss too much, you complain too much, you do this too much, or whatever. Well, that's what I'm here for, guys. I'm your voice. So if I can say this in my beer reviews and somebody there sees it, say, well, maybe we ought to do that, or maybe we ought to stamp something on the bottle or something on the label. That makes me happy that I'm doing it for everybody, not just for me, because I can't buy these beers here, but maybe I have a little influence there. I'm just hoping, just grasping at straws here, guys, but I want to let them know the beer is awesome. It's probably a 10 beer. I haven't got to the bottom yet. If I don't chug, I'm not going to say it's going to be, but they've got it in a 9 bottle because there's no vintage on it. So we're going to sip on it and let it come up to room temperature, and I'm going to come back and figure out where it's going to get, but more than likely it's not going to get to 10 because it doesn't have a vintage on it. So let's sip on it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while. Very, very tasty beer. Very impressive beer. If it had a vintage on it, it'd probably get a 10 from me, guys. To me, with what I'm sipping on and not having a vintage on it or some kind of date accordingly somewhere on the label or stamped on the bottle that I could see. I will look one more time, but I do not think they have it. Don't see anything, guys. So basically what we have here is a 10 beer in a 9 bottle because there is no vintage on it. I can deal with the wax, but they're going to have to tell me the ABV and what the vintage is on this style of beer. This beer is going to probably keep 10, 15, even 20 years. But they need to tell me that. When was it done? Is it a 2015, 2018, 2019? Rico said he bought it at the brewery, so he thinks it's 2019. But it doesn't have it on the label anywhere. And it doesn't mean it's a 2019, other than it's at 12.8%, and that's what Untapped is telling me 2019 is. When I left that off, like I said earlier, it brings it back at a 13.2%. Not a lot of difference there, but still, they need to put the vintage on it. If they want to get to 10 from me, even if it's a 10 beer, 11 beer, 12 beer, they need to tell me the vintage, at the very least, and the ABV on any style of beer. And if it's an IPA or double IPA, they need to tell me the month, day, and the year. I gotta have that. And otherwise, you will not get to 10 from me any longer. And I've been giving Treehouse and some of the other beers 10s when they did not have that. I will not do that again. You will tell me at least those 2 bits of information, or you will not get to 10 beer, whether it's a 10 beer or not. So that's just me. That's my opinion. That's what I'm going to do. If you don't like it, unfriend me. Don't follow me. Don't watch me. That's how I feel about it. This day and age, it is time for these guys to step up to the plate. So I enjoyed this beer, Rico. Thanks a bunch, my brother, for sending it to me. And it's got an awesome bourbon note, aroma, and very tasty to drink. Damn sure tasty. Wow. Disappointing to me that they refused to put a vintage on it somewhere. So, if they got time to put somebody at the end of the bottle line dipping every one of these in a wax container to charge you more money, they could put the vintage on it somewhere, whether it's on the label or stamped on the bottle. Step up to the plate. Be a player. Do the right thing. Final shot. If this beer was available here and I seen it and I didn't see a vintage or a date on it, I would not buy it. I don't give a damn if it's a 10, 11, 12 beer. It's a 10 beer in a 9 bottle because there's no vintage. That's where I'm going with it. Whether you agree or disagree, it is what it is. And like I said, Beer Advocate has it listed at a 13.2%, 89. Irrelevant to me. Irrelevant. They got the wrong ABV. They're not listing different years like Untapped does, so they're in the shower. Out of here. You're out of the game. Over to Untapped. Untapped has the 2019 at the right ABV at 4.38. That's their A beer. And that's why I'm going to give this one. This is an A beer, 95 in the scale for me, guys, because they have no vintage on it. Otherwise, they would probably get a 10. So, if you can deal with that, buy all you can get your hands on. You got deep pockets and you can afford it. I don't know if it's distributed or not, or it's brewery only release. You have to buy it at the brewery or not. They still need to print that on there. It is what it is. 9 beer. 10 beer in a 9 bottle. So, I'm going to give it a 95, guys. Even though I enjoyed it extremely, I would not buy this beer until they put some kind of vintage or dating on it. So, with that being said, if you've had the picture in reverse bourbon barrel aged version, I think I have a rye in there that he sent me, and it's probably going to be the same way, guys. I'm not going to give it a 10, even if it is a 10 beer, if it doesn't have a vintage on it somewhere. So, if you've had the picture in reverse from Kane Brewing, the bourbon barrel aged version, 2019 at 12.8%, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.